Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have you at a different angle because you are joining me at my desk because I'm going to be tier ranking all the books I read in 2023. So I'm excited to dive in, kind of reflect on how my reading went, and share with you what I think is worth reading and what maybe isn't. So let's take a look at my computer. So I've put together this tier ranking order on Canva. The top tier is masterpiece. This is art. These are the types of books that I just think are so beautifully crafted. Beyond the story is just like such a beautiful piece of art. The next tier I've called Extreme Fun Was Had. I don't give a fuck, okay? And that pretty much means I had a lot of fun with it. It might not be a piece of art like the tier above, but I had such a good time reading it. It like served its purpose. It might not be like the most well-written book, but if it delivered what I expected and I had a great time, it will go in this tier. The next tier is solid with a fist bump on it. And that's just a book that was like good. I had a good time. It wasn't something that like I'm like over the moon about. It's not something I'm going to be thinking about a lot, but like it was a solid read and I wouldn't be mad that someone recommended it to me. I wouldn't be mad to recommend it to you. It's just like a solid good time. All right, now we move into kind of like the more negative tiers. We've got meh, fine, but like whatever, you know? It's like whatever, like I don't really care. It was fine that I read it, but like I would have been fine if I didn't read it. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. That's the vibe. The next tier down from that, we have bad book. Bad. Stop that. And this kind of like reminds me of like that Michael Jordan meme or whatever. This is just obviously a book that I thought was bad. I would not recommend this book. I did not have fun with it. I probably skimmed most of it if I marked it as done, and it just needs to cut it out. And then the last tier is kind of harsh. I've named it Waste of Time, Should Have Never Read, which, ouch, that kind of hurts me to say. Like that's so mean. And I'll be honest, like I usually tend to DNF books if I'm really hating it, unless I have like some obligation to read it. So yeah, there probably won't be that many in this category. We'll find out. Obviously, if you enjoyed the books that I put in this tier, that is perfectly fine. Love what you love, enjoy what you like. I'm sure there are books that I'm going to put higher up on my tier that other people really don't like. But yeah, for me, like I kind of wish I could get my time back probably on these books. In 2023, I read 73 books, which feels like a lot. For me, I guess. I mean, I think in 2022, actually, I read like 80 something. So it was less than the previous year. But when I look at this overall view, which I have up for you, it's really like, I don't know. I'm like a little underwhelmed by my reading this year. In 2024, I want to focus more on books that I'm excited about, books that are a little more noteworthy, books that are a little more challenging, thought-provoking, have more to say. Like I want to read for fun, and I did have a lot of fun reading in 2023, but I also just want to like not just read silly like smutty romances because I feel like I need to like have my numbers be up or it fits like some kind of prompt for some kind of an event, you know? I want to just prioritize like quality reads that I'm more excited about versus just being like, oh, this would fit into something and it's short, so it's easier, you know? Because there's a lot of novellas on here, which a lot of them, especially in the beginning, I read because they were fun. But I don't know. I'm just like a little underwhelmed, and I want to hit more 5 stars in 24. So I want to work on prioritizing books that I think could be 5 stars or like thought-provoking or yada, 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 and then mix in the fun ones as well. We'll find out where everything lies as we tier rank. So these books are all in the order that I read them. So the first book I finished in 2023 was Restore Me. This is a Black romance. I wouldn't say I loved it. I felt like it meandered a lot and didn't really get to the point that well. So I'm just going to put it in meh, fine, but like whatever. Didn't love it. I was really excited about it, but like it was just way too long and more smut than there was romance, which I was anticipating there to be more romance. The next book I read was His Beauty by Jack Harbin. This was a like Beauty and the Beast novella, and it was fine. Not something I really needed to read. So I think maybe I read it for a prompts thing. I'm going to put it here in meh, fine, but like whatever. Also, next we have Paranesi, which I read for my IRL book club. This book was really interesting. It was a little challenging for me to like visualize the maze aspect of it, but it was really cool. And it's a book that I would like want to read again since my head has had the chance to like get the basis of the story down, that I can kind of zone in onto the details more. I mean, I feel like a lot of people would put it in masterpiece, but for me, I'd say it was a solid read. It was solid. Good read, cool book. It was really fun to discuss with my book club and all that. Then I read this short little monster romance. This is the second book to the Milking Farm one. It's with like a Mothman, and it was fun. There were definitely scenes that I thought about a lot in the beginning of the year. I was just like, it was just like stuck in my head. I was like, that was definitely unique and special. So I'm going to put this in solid fist bump read. This next one is kind of random. It's Love Poems in Quarantine. I think I must have bought this like deep in pandemic time, or like I was still probably walking around with a mask on, but I think I lived in New York. I definitely bought this at the McNally Jackson near me, but I finally finished it at the start of 2023, and I wasn't not gonna count it just because it's poetry. I'd say it was solid. It was solid. There were some really cool poems in there that I annotated it and stuff, which was fun. So I think it's a cool memento for this time in human history of going through this pandemic. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm glad I own it, and I'm glad I read it, and I'll look back at my notes and reflect on that time. But I'm glad that time is behind us. This next book, Forget Me Not by QB Tyler, is my first QB Tyler book that I've read. This one was really hyped up by Peace Love Books, aka Jess. It's a amnesia romance. She has a thing for amnesia, so I think she's a little biased, but I had a good time with it. It's quite steamy. I was a little frustrated with the will they, won't they aspect of like them getting back together, because they didn't really work on anything. It was just kind of like, is the wife going to forgive the husband for cheating on her? You know, he had amnesia, but apparently, like, he cheated on her before he lost his memory and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. So that kind of annoyed me. And I wanted there to be, like, a little bit more depth on, like, them working it out. So, it was good. It was good. I would put it in solid. Everything is pretty solid, okay? There's going to be some standouts eventually, hopefully. Because otherwise, 2023 was a little bit disappointing if there's not going to be. Then I read this one, Fair Catch by Candy Steiner, which was my first one from her as well. So actually, I was starting out 2023 pretty good. I was reading a lot of new to me romance authors that I've heard a lot about. So that's really cool. What kind of happened towards the end? But yeah, this is Candy Steiner. It's football, sports romance, new adult. They're in college, and it's a friends to enemies to lovers kind of vibe with a female kicker who's on their collegiate team. So yeah, this was actually really fun. I highly enjoyed it. It's an interracial couple as well, though Candy Steiner herself is white, just to be noted, but I didn't think it was weird or anything. I think I'm gonna put it here, and extreme fun was had. I don't give a fuck. I gotta curse less. But yeah, that one was a really fun time. I would definitely recommend that series. I read more in the series as the year went on. Oh my God. So the next one here is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this book was so beautiful. Now we're talking. This book was art, and I want to read it again and again and again and just find the little breadcrumbs of details of how this beautiful piece of work was put together. I know a lot of people have a hard time describing it. They're like, it's about video games. And yes, video games is important, but I would say like the main theme in this book is about friendship and love and heartbreak and just the experience of being a POC in America, specifically Asian American, identity, just like the small little things about even like how his mother, her name was like the same name as like so many other women around, and like what makes someone unique. I can't even remember everything, all the little breadcrumbs that were in there, but I would love to read this again. It was beautiful. So this is obviously going into masterpiece. This is art. And then right after reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I came into another banger, which was Lessons in Chemistry. This one I really, really enjoyed. It's a historical feminist story about a woman in chemistry who ends up becoming a TV cooking personality. And I thought it was really, really good. The criticism I have is because it's historical, it really glosses over like segregation and like racism and stuff like that. Like there's just not a lot of diversity in the story. And like I would have loved for that to have been touched on. But I know some authors might be hesitant to do that. But overall, like if I'm just going to look at it as like a white lady dealing with, you know, misogyny and anti-feminist things and like how she overcame that, beautiful piece of work. If I'm looking at it as an overall historical timepiece, like there were some gaps. So it's tough to say. Like I kind of want to put it up here because it was one of the ones that I thought was really well done, but there are problems. But we'll be generous. We'll be generous and understanding and give the person grace. We'll put it up here for now. This is art. I thought it was really good for a feminist take. Then I read this book, Heat Strokes. I got this off a free download, I think on a Stuff Your Kindle day. This is a Black romance. But first off, I have a problem because this cover model is not a good representation of the actual character. She was a plus size woman. I want to like read more Black romances, but like this one just didn't jive with me. I'm just going to put it in meh, fine. Like I feel bad about that, but I got to be honest with myself. Like it really like, I didn't love the writing. Okay, I kept my Black love going with this interracial story called American Royalty. This one was fun. I can't go into detail of every book, but she's like a music artist and he is British royalty and it's their little romance together. I'd say it was a solid read. I've had more fun with other books because I felt like sometimes the steam level was kind of like weirdly fluctuating. Like some parts felt fade to black and then other parts I was like, wait, well, we're going there, you know? So writing wise, it could have been a little more like cleaned up and consistent, but overall I had a good time with it. Okay, this is another IRL book club pick. Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl. This is about a young man who's like trying to find himself in his sexuality and stuff, but he has this magical power to be able to literally transform his body to look different. So he could like make himself look more feminine. He could grow breasts. He could change his, you know, genitalia and like all these things and like change his hair color, eye color, height, hairiness, like all this stuff. And it's just him really trying to like, just like find himself as a young man or just even just like a young person. And just like the way it ended was so open-ended that I didn't even know what to take away. It was an interesting read. It was really fun to annotate and discuss. I would recommend it. It's a pretty cool queer story. I'd say extreme fun was had. It was cool. I do think about that book a lot, and I'm so happy to have it on my shelves. Next, we have Kennedy Ryan's The Kingmaker. This is a Black author, and the characters in this, I think the man is white and the woman is an indigenous Native American. It's their love story. There's a big time jump in it, which I was like angry about. And then this doesn't have a happily ever after because there's a second book, which I haven't read yet because the way it ended, I was like, what? So it was like solid, but I really don't love big time jumps where I feel like the characters have just wasted so much time and opportunity of like being in love and together and stuff. For that, like I can't like say I loved it. And also considering the fact that I didn't continue with this like the duology, I'd say it's solid. It's solid. I love Kennedy Ryan. I do really enjoy her writing. And I want to continue to read her backlist. But that one in particular, like, there's just something about it that, like, made me mad and then hasn't drawn me into continuing the duology. I will continue it, though. The way it ended, like, I need to finish it. But I've just been I've been kind of scared to finish it because I'm like, where are we going? Like, that was really intense way to end the first book. Then I started getting into my Jessica Kane era here with Hefty. I don't know if this is the very first one I read of Jessica Kane. Clearly, it's the first one I read in 2023. So she has like this whole like plus size hero series. There were a couple of them that I read. I think this one was like the football player. He's this bigger guy and he's been in love with his best friend's little sister or twin or something. And she's like a cheerleader and she's always been in love with him, but he doesn't know it. And it's like their little romance. Oh, wow. I gave this 5 stars. Clearly, I had a lot of fun. So we're going to put it in extreme fun was had. IDGAF because is it the best piece of writing ever? No, but is Jessica Kane super fun? Yes. Are some of her other books really questionable that I read in 2023? Yes, and you will find out more. Okay, and then I read my second ever Penelope Douglas Birthday Girl, and I had so much fun with this. This is a taboo romance. I'm not even going to tell you everything about it because I don't have time to go through all of these. We're still on the first row. I loved it. I want to read all of Pen D's books. We're just going to be bold and we're going to put it up here. Okay, top tier. That book is so fun. Would highly recommend. It's taboo. Like you might hate it, but like don't be that scared of it. Like if you're a little scared of the synopsis of like, oh, it's her boyfriend's dad, like don't be scared of it because it's done gracefully somehow. She just manages to make it work. Another silly fun Jessica Kane book. Oh my God, these were so funny. Okay, these were fun. So this one, they're in high school. The guy's been obsessed with the chick forever and they haven't spoken, but like he's very protective of her. He's like her shadow. And then they finally cross paths when she needs her car fixed because he's like a mechanic. Once like he like touches her for the first time, the beast is unleashed. Okay, it was a really silly fun time. I'd recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. We're going to put it in extreme fun was had. And then I kept my Jessica Kane kick going. I was like, I'm on a roll. And I read When the Farmer Met the City Girl. This one was like less fun. You don't even need to know that much about it, except the title pretty much says it all. It was like fine. It was fine. But it was like meh. You know, less fun. It was like whatever. I read Rose Madder, my first Stephen King for my IRL book club, but it was like a solid spooky time. I've been told there are much better Stephen King books, so I still want to go on my Stephen King journey. Have I read many other Stephen Kings? No. Do I own a couple more? Yes. So I should read them. This next one is the second one in Candy Steiner's football romance. People love this one the most, and I had a good time. It's like a fake dating, like the sexy bad guy, like teaching the innocent nerdy girl kind of tropes. Yeah, it was fun. I'll put it in solid. I think the first one I had more fun with. There's like a little more depth to it. Did I read this one for book club? I felt like I had to read this one. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. I felt like the world building was really big, but like not that explained. But it was like fine. All of these ratings are just going off instinct, and I'm gonna put it in meh. It was fine. Like I definitely would have been fine never having read it, but like it was fine. Wow, I'm so generous. I didn't put anything in the 2 lowest tiers yet. That will probably change. More Jessica Kane. I think I read like a total of like 10 Jessica Kanes this year. This one is queen sized. So for this one, there was like some kind of competition where these women were like trying to find husbands, and the king sees this one woman and he's like, you're mine. And it's just a short little novella about that. I'd say for her, it was just solid. It was like solid, whatever. Ooh, I said whatever though. Let's move it down. Then I got caught up in Hannah Blackwell's hype of Zodiac Academy, and I read the first book back in April, and it was quite the surprise. I really enjoyed myself, guys. The book was really long. It has almost no romance. Don't read it like a romance, okay? Just read it like a shitstorm fantasy. That will probably frustrate you at times. But like, I was intrigued. I was on the edge of my seat. I had fun, okay? Don't shoot me. I'm going to put it here, and extreme fun was had. I had a lot of fun, and now I've committed to reading the entire series in 2024 as like a group buddy thing on Discord. Okay, I'm sure everybody's sick of it. Another Jessica Kane. This one is probably my favorite one. Breaking the Bully. This one was like, again, they're seniors in high school. They had like this moment when they were like sophomores or something, but her dad's like abusive. I don't want to tell too much, but like there's a bit of a misunderstanding. He's been obsessed with her. So because she rejected him when they were like sophomores, because of this misunderstanding, he starts bullying her and like making her life hell. And then when he finds the truth, then things start to resolve and like it gets, you know, their second chance. I used to think about this one a lot, but I read it like months ago now, so I don't think about it as often, but it was really fun. And I would recommend it if for like just like a silly, like new adult, sexy time, you know, whatever. It does have the silly trope where it's like, okay, they're both like virgins or whatever, but they're like super like amazing at like sexy time. I'm just gonna put it up here, okay? This one was like my favorite Jessica Kane, so I'm gonna just put it at the top. Sue me. I can do what I want. It's my tier. Next, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Beautiful, amazing. Everyone should read this. Art. We're picking up the pace here, okay? Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Read it for book club. Kind of hated it, okay? I really didn't wish I had to read it. I never wanted to read it when I heard people talking about it, but I was forced to read it because my friend wanted to read it, and I was like, fine. And I bought it on Kindle, and I wish I didn't even have it, and I wish I could delete the download, and I wish I could have just read it for free, and like, I just hated it, okay? I'm so sorry. I know so many people love this book, but like, I have to put it at the bottom. I am so sorry. It was so boring. I hated it. Then I read Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Really cool. I listened to the audio. I learned a lot about her that I had no idea she was going through. I'm just going to put it at the top because she deserves it. Like, it was really brave of her to come out with all that stuff, and she went through a lot of shit. Okay, then we have the third book in the Candy Steiner football romance series, and this one was my favorite one in the series so far. It was so good. It was like about this quarterback guy that is falling in love with the coach's daughter, and she's working in like the the training room where she like does like the physical therapy type stuff, and she does like pole dancing to like have mental clarity, and she has a lot of trauma in her past, and like he was so understanding and sweet, and I would definitely reread this one. It was my favorite one in the series. I recommended it to my friend Sam to read for her like 12 books by recommended from 12 Friends series. So yeah, loved this one. We're gonna put it at the top. Yay! Okay, then we started going downhill with Jessica Haynes ones. This one was like, it's got daddy kink, and I don't like the daddy kink. I don't like it. So this one was not that fun, and it was kind of gross and icky, and I don't like it. This one actually suits this really well. Bad book, bad. Stop that. Stop it. Like, it was fun until it like goes too far with this weird kink. I don't like it. Stop it. This one too. I think this one started to do the daddy kink too, and I was like, no. It was fun until you did that. Like, why? Take a step back. Bad book. Bad. Cut that out. Ugh, okay, this one was another, like, silly, steamy time. It was like, why did I read this? Ugh, not worth my time. So, just let's put it in, like, waste of time. Like, I don't, like, hate it, but, like, it was just, like, a waste of time. Then I read my first Catherine Cowles book, Tattered Stars. This is, like, romantic suspense. My first romantic suspense, maybe, at least in a really long time. It was really hyped up for me, but overall, I'd say it was, like, solid. I wanted it to be a little bit more about the romance and less about the suspense. But yeah, it was like solid, and I'm like excited to... Am I that excited? I mean, I haven't continued the series. I do want to continue my Catherine Cowles journey, but I haven't. So I don't know what that says about it, but like it was like solid. But I like say I'm excited to like continue the series and read more Catherine Cowles, but I like haven't prioritized that. Okay, and then another one with Jessica Kane. Like we started off so good, and then we just kind of went downhill. I don't even remember like... I think this was like this woman came into custody of this other like billionaire guy, but like he's not her family. I don't know why she was like in his custody. And then like she finally turned 18, and then I was like, the daddy kink again. I was like, kill me. And I was just like, stop it. So in 2023, I did my first being a book club series read, and we read the entire Greenbone Saga trilogy, the first one being Jade City, and this book was absolutely phenomenal. 5 stars, so beautiful, so amazing, obsessed, loved it. Read this series, watch all my spoiler vlogs. I annotated every single book. This is art, okay? I cried many times reading the series. We might as well just skip ahead and add Jade War and Jade Legacy up here, because this whole series, absolutely loved it. Beautiful up here, masterpieces, art. You cannot change my mind on that. I also read this for my IRL book club, The 3 Body Problem. This is a Chinese work. It has some awards. It's sci-fi. There was like things that were really cool about it, but also at the same time, I like just didn't love it as much as I wanted to. It's a part of a series, so I don't feel the urge to like continue on, but I still kept my copy because I liked it well enough. I'd say it was solid. It was solid for sure. I think I just read like other sci-fis that I enjoyed a lot more, particularly Project Hail Mary. Like I really, really enjoyed, and I just wanted to be at that level. And for whatever reason, it just like didn't have as much fun. Like I didn't have as much fun reading this one versus like other sci-fis. More Jessica Kane. This one was crazy. This one is like an MFM, and like everybody's kind of like involved in it. This woman like gets wrapped up in these convicts, and I won't spoil it for you because it's so short, but it was fun. I found like another fun Jessica Kane one. So I would definitely recommend this one if you're looking for MFM and a little MM in there. And yeah, it was really fun. It was silly, but enjoyable. Oh God, another one. I'm almost like ashamed about how many there are. Why are there so many? This was another one that was good until Daddy Kink. So we're just gonna put that in, stop that. This is a manga, which is fun. I watched the anime many, many years ago, and now I guess they got translated into English, and it's very cute. Not super conclusive in book 1, so I might continue it. It's slice of life, like high school age, YA. But yeah, it's cute and fun, and I like the art style. We'll put it up here. Okay, this one I read for a readathon. I was on Team Jin. This was a Jin book. It was like why choose, but like, was it really why choose? I don't really know. It was very strange. The dynamic between all the characters. It's like these 3 guys are like destined to be like the princes of hell and all this stuff, and I don't know. It's just like a little weird. It was just like a little weird. I don't think the writing was great. I thought the storytelling and the writing was a little inconsistent. So I'm gonna put it in like maybe down here. Oh God, I feel so mean. Like I definitely didn't need to read the book. It was one of those books that I read because of prompts and stuff. Here's another why choose one that I got off the recommendation of a friend. I'd say it was solid. It was solid. It was fine. There was like plot stuff that I didn't care about. I'm mostly here for the romance. And sometimes with why choose, like they don't focus on the romance enough because like you don't get enough time with each man, I'm going to move it down. I'm so sorry. I wanted less adventuring. I'm like not that motivated by adventuring plot lines and stuff. I just find it a little boring. I'm like, I really don't care, especially traveling. I don't like traveling that much. So traveling in stories. Then I read this one. This is another suggestion I had from my IRL book club, She Who Became the Sun. And I'm so disappointed in this book. I actually found it very underwhelming and like just boring. I don't know. I just did not like this book. I had to like force myself to finish it, which was so disappointing. The book club had a good time with it. They all gave it a good rating, but like me, I think I liked it the least. I'm gonna put it in down here. Like, I don't think it was a waste of time because I was excited about it. It's got like comparisons to Mulan and stuff. The main character is not likable in a way that isn't even fun. This one I read for my mom's book club. I met this author. It was really cool to like go to her house in New York and like have brunch and like chat books with her and stuff. So that was such a fun experience. It's a bit of a World War II story. It's got a bit of a romance in it. I'm gonna put it in solid read. Now I have a Katie Roberts. I continued on in that Deal with the Demons series with the Gargoyles Captive. This one was not my favorite out of the ones that I've read so far. I'm gonna put it in meh, fine. It was like fine, whatever. Okay, this one I got off of free download, Baby Wanted. I thought this one sounded really cool. It's like this interracial couple. Well, they weren't even a couple. They were like friends. And the woman, she really wants to have a baby. She asks her friend if he can be the baby daddy for her. And he's been in love with her forever. And it's like their friends to lovers romance. And I thought the premise was really good. I just thought the writing was kind of weak. So I'm just going to put this in meh, fine. I just thought the writing needed work. This one was a surprise. I downloaded this one for free as well, Power Play. And this is like an office romance, but the power balance between these two people, like they're both at the same career level, and they're competing for like these marketing projects and all this stuff. And they both want to be like kind of like the dominant in the relationship and stuff, but they don't want to necessarily like have a relationship, but they're attracted to each other. And they're like, how are we going to make this work? Because we're both like so like domineering. And it's them trying to like find that balance. And it was really good, surprisingly. Like it went that far. It like had that emotional impact and like depth and all that stuff, which I found very surprising because it's not that long either. So yeah, this was one I would definitely recommend. I had a good time with it and I really appreciated the storytelling and the steam. I'm going to put this extreme fun was had. This was another free download, Her Wild Roommate, and she like lives with her best friend and he's in love with her. And they finally sort their stuff out. I'll say, it's fine. Fine. I read A Ship of Bones and Teeth, which was like a trending one for a little while. This is a fantasy romance with like mermaids and pirates and other mythical creatures and stuff. It was way too long in my opinion, but it was like fine. But it was also like meh. We'll put it in solid. It was solid. It was fine. It's in between solid and fine, honestly, but I'll put it in solid. This is a novella book in the Tempting Monsters series, which is a part of the Rookstrave Manors series. And this one was cute. This isn't a why choose, it's just MF. And yeah, I actually really liked this one. This one was sweet. So to give you a little more context, the basilisk, like if you look into his eyes, you die, pretty much. Like, I don't think you turn to stone. He's not like Medusa or anything, but like you die. He's looking for a partner, and the woman they pair him up with is blind. So it's like a match made in heaven. And it was really sweet. I'll put it in solid because I wanted a little more steam out of it, but the story was cute. All right, then I read The Hacienda for book club. This one is a spooky, like ghost story kind of book. I'll say the ending had my jaw on the floor. I was listening to it, but at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, I feel like it could go farther. But overall, I think it was like a solid read. Solid, very solid. Then I picked up this historical romance at the recommendations of Ava. This one was really good. This one was fun. I haven't read a historical in a while, and this one's like really old timey. Like I had fun with it, though the heroine sometimes she was annoying because she was like a little too headstrong. I was like, bitch, you're being stupid. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like you're just like trying too hard. Like just sit down and listen to your man because he knows what he's talking about. I'll say extreme fun was had. I devoured it. This one I got on a free download, Demonic Prince. I think I read this for a prompt as well. I think I was playing like a TBR game. Yeah, it was like a silly fun time, but also like not that logical. Like there was so much plot that like just had loose ends tied together so randomly and easily at the end. It was silly. Meh, it was fine. Sure. I didn't need to read it, but like this is the problem I get in. Like I'm trying new things. I'm getting books for free. Like I need to prioritize books that I buy that I hear great things about, not just like random books, and read those first and not like random ones. I read too many random things. Okay, I continued on in this witch series. This is the second one. I'm going to put it in, it's fine. Oh, actually, I put the first one in here too. Yeah, I was kind of getting over it. You know, there were a lot of like mystery elements about the men and stuff that I was like trying to uncover. I was like, ooh, I was intrigued by the first one. And then the second one, I was kind of like, I don't really care about the plot that much. I read this Get in My Swamp book with Sam on a live with a couple other friends. This was just a silly fun time about Shrek. It was written in a contemporary timeline. I'm going to say bad book. But like it was like a fun reading experience together. I read Nighthawk by Beverly Jenkins. This one was solid. All you need to know about this one is that it was solid, and just read more Black love books. Teach Me was another cute one. I really like Olivia Dade. Good communication. The heroine is plus size. It was just like mostly sweet, not that spicy. I'm gonna put it in solid. Transcendence is a caveman romance. It's all from the male's perspective, which I wasn't anticipating. Our heroine is like a time traveler. Like she accidentally travels in time back into like the prehistoric time period. Gets found by this lone caveman. He's just like out on his own, and he's like excited to like have another human around. This one was interesting. Very different than what I anticipated, but like it was fun. But also I was like, this is kind of long. And also I'm like, I wish we weren't only stuck in his head, but it made it intriguing because he doesn't even understand like language and stuff. He's like, why is she making all these noises out of her mouth? You know what I mean? It was an experience to read. I'm going to put it in, it was fine. Because I just had really high expectations with it. And I just like didn't love it as much as I really wanted to. I don't know why I read this one, Sentence to the Tentacle Chair. I think I was on a live and people were like, oh my God, you should read this. We're reading it. And I'm like, okay, it's only like 30 pages or something. It was silly, guys. Obviously. This was a waste. Don't read this. Don't read that. Jack, okay, it must have been October now. Just another smutty, silly time with the jack-o'-lantern head. I read this for a prompt to like hit my bingo. I'd say it wasn't a waste of time because like it hit my prompt, but if like objectively, like reading wise, like should I spend time reading books like this? No. So we're gonna put it down here. Waste of time. Okay, like it's fun to hit prompts, but also like what's the point of hitting prompts and reading books that I don't truly care about? Isn't that the point of reading, is like for my true relaxation and enjoyment versus just like competitiveness? You know, like I don't want to just read for competition. I just want to read good books that I can like proudly recommend and like get excited about talking about. I don't want to just like read words to be like, okay, like this counts for something, you know? That's my resolution. My resolution that I say very adamantly. Then I finally read Mistborn. I bought the trilogy on sale. I'm not a Brandy Sandy girl. I just like didn't care that much about this plot, this story. I was not invested. I wasn't that interested in the magic system. I am a romance person at heart. I was just like a little bored. There's like a little bit of romance, but I'm just like, ugh. Like it's so YA. It like doesn't like, you just don't feel anything. Like I didn't feel anything. I felt nothing for that romance. Like it was like cute, but also felt like it came out of left field. So I ended up giving away my trilogy. I didn't read 2 and 3, and I just gave it to my cousin for Christmas. Because I'm like, I'm not going to read these. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to be a Brandy Sandy girl. Everybody loves him, and I'm not one of them. I didn't hate it, but I was like bored, and I like forced myself to read it. I was just like falling asleep trying to read. I was just like so bored. I was like struggling so hard, so I had to get the audio to like power through. But let's put it in, it was fine, but like whatever. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. I don't get the hype. I don't get it. I was bored. Okay, I read another Catherine Moon, Games with the Orc. This one was super steamy. It's about a sex worker, pretty much, this guy. And this woman, she's trying to like discover her sexuality and like explore her kinks and stuff. And they fall in love. And it was really cute. But I will say it took me a long time to read because it is just like scene after scene after scene after scene. And I'm like, there's only so many scenes that I can take in one sitting. You know what I mean? But their romance was cute. The steam was really good. I had fun with it. But like I said, I really had to pace myself with this. So let's say extreme fun was had. Yeah, we'll put it here. I had a lot of fun. I'd recommend that one. Here's another book that was really, really hyped to me, Radiance. This premise is really cool too. So she is a human and he's some kind of like monster being, and they both find each other very ugly. They're beautiful within their own races. They are forced into this arranged marriage. It's like a political thing, and they eventually fall in love. But like, it was like, whatever. I really wanted to love this one, and it was like solid, but like also I was like a little let down. I think the hype was a little too high for me. I think we're gonna put it in meh, it was fine. Which is really disappointing. That was a book that like at least I was trying. Like I was trying to read books that I paid for, that I was excited about, that I heard good things about, and it just didn't work out. So at least I tried. Okay, I read another Tiffany Roberts book, Yearning for Her. This one was really good. So he is a succubus of some sort, and she is a plus size woman, and she is his fated mate. And now he cannot sustain himself off anybody else except her, because obviously he's a succubus, or whatever the male equivalent of that is. And he gets his like strength and energy basically like eating from other people's pleasure. And he just can't gain that from anybody else now that he's come across his fated mate, and it's their romance. And it was so good. I had so much fun reading this. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece piece of art, though the communication in it, to be fair, was pretty good. Communication was really good. There was no like stupid like misunderstandings that like were kind of set up. You're like, oh God, are they just gonna like not talk about this, and then she's gonna be mad or he's gonna be mad? Let's just move it up here, because people should take notes on the level of communication that can be had in a romance novel and still be successful and have conflict and be fun, because the stupid miscommunication tropes are so boring. All right, then I tried Stolen Tongues. I saw Sam read this one and it was really good. So I listened to this on audio. It's about like this couple that stay in this cabin, and there's this like demonic creature that's kind of haunting them, and he's like trying to like attack or like take over the mind of this man's wife. They're like laying in bed together at night, and she's saying crazy things. She's like seeing things, and like I was scared, okay? I was scared. I had to listen to it during the daytime. Even though like sometimes I would try to listen at night, like I'd be getting ready for bed, I have it on, I'd get to a part, I'd be like, no. And I would turn it off. And then one night I was crazy and I'm like, let me just listen to it with my headphones on in bed, like in the dark. Like my husband's laying here next to me, it'll be fine. But so many scenes in that book are of the couple like laying in bed in the dark together, and then crazy stuff starts happening. One of those scenes started happening while I was laying in my own bed, and I was like, no monsters coming for me tonight, okay? I had to turn it off. So yeah, really good. I would recommend. I will say it's got some talk about like Native Americans and stuff, and like Native American spirits and things like that. And the author at the end is like trying to like say like, yeah, I did a lot of research on this, and like I know a Native American guy, and like, but I don't think he like actually referred to any Native Americans when he wrote this. That's not a good look. But as a story, it was fun, but like ethically, it was like a little sus. Just going with that in mind, or like maybe look it up a little bit more than I did originally, because I read this after the fact. As a spooky story, it's fun. I'm gonna put it in extreme fun was had, because it's true. I had a lot of fun, and maybe I give a little bit of an F. I give a little bit of an F of like the problematic stuff. I do care. I just don't know enough to speak on it myself. Okay, then I continued this Wolf Shifter romance series. This is like the third book, Carnal Secrets. This one was weak, and I knew it was going to be weak because all the comments or all the reviews on it on Goodreads said it was weak, and I have to agree. So we're going to put it in bad, because I don't think it was a waste of time, because I still might continue the series, because the first one was really strong, the second one was pretty strong, and then the third one was not that great. Here's another one where I really tried to read something that I bought, that I was excited about, that I heard good things about, and it was only okay. Desperate Measures has a little bit of daddy kink, but like not nearly as bad as Jessica Kane. And I think I just had a little bit too much hype in my head about it, and I just didn't love it as much as I wanted to. So let's just put it in, it was fine. Here's a book that I read for Meredith's book club. She is Australian, and she recommended this Australian queer young adult romance, which is about these two boys that live out in the Mish, I believe. So they're black. It's them just like falling in love and trying to, like being scared of like being gay in this black community. Yeah, and I thought it was really sweet and beautifully done. So yeah, I really did enjoy this. I thought it was super sweet. It's YA, which I don't usually love. I'm gonna put it in Extreme Fun was had. This one was good. House on the Cerulean Sea. I read this for my family book club. I think I'm in a little bit too many book clubs. I kind of want to pull back from all my mandatory reads a little bit. But I'm so glad I recommended this one to my book club. It was so adorable. It was probably the cutest book that I read the entire year, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to put this in top tier because it deserves it. It was so precious, so cute, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. You could read it to children. It's good for adults, children, young adults, old folks, everyone. Wreck My Plans. This was really sweet. This was a cute, solid time. Got me out of a little bit of a slumpy feeling after reading such a good book, House on the Cerulean Sea. So yeah, solid fist bump read. Then I read Waking Olivia, which was another one that I was super excited about because it got great reviews. This is about like student athlete, coach romance, darker romance. It was really good. It was good. I was up late. It caused me to have nightmares. There were some things that definitely didn't get discussed that I thought was worth discussing, that didn't really get closed out. But overall, I had a lot of fun reading it. I did, and I would recommend it. Almost done. Last 3. This next one, Dear Monster Claws. The man on the cover is very attractive, but I didn't really enjoy this book. I skimmed most of it. I thought it was kind of stupid. I'm so sorry. I was just not in the right place to read that. I shouldn't have forced it, but it was Christmas. I didn't have a good time. You know what? Actually, we'll just put it in bad because I did want to read it. I did choose to read it. It wasn't something that I forced myself to read. Like, it was something that was on my radar since last Christmas in 2022. But yeah, I just didn't think it was good. A Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I got caught up again in the Christmassy vibes, the Christmas deals. I definitely didn't need to buy it because it's on KU, because I own a physical copy. This book is extremely Hallmark. I'd say, man, it was fine. Like, there were some shining moments for sure, but then there were also moments that I had to roll my eyes to the back of my skull. I definitely could have made these little images bigger. And then the final book I rounded off 2023 with was Railed by the Krampus, and I hated it. I hated it. I thought it was so bad. And it's not a good way to end the year. I finished it on the very last day, December 31st, and I skimmed most of it because it was just stupid. This was truly wasted time. Waste of time. All right, so this is my completed tier list of all the books I read in 2023. I sized up the books so you could see them much better because they were so small before. So yes, now you know what I think was worth my time, what I think is worth your time if you haven't read them already, and books that I think you could probably skip on and that I didn't really feel good about. You know, I want more books that are less meh and more yay, you know? So hopefully I can find some stellar reads in 2024 and prioritize what I think are going to be beautiful books versus just reading for the sake of reading. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!